Hi, I'm Evan Perkins with Fastest Street Car Magazine, and we're here today at Westech Performance installing one of Fast's crank triggers. Here's our basic components laid out right here. It's a very simple system. Basically consists of a trigger wheel, a trigger adjustment bracket, and a mounting bracket. And we're going to get started right away. So we've brought our motor up to 35 degrees before top dead center. We've already run this motor in the dyno, and we know that that's where it makes peak power. So that's where we're gonna install the trigger wheel. The first step is going to be installing the mounting bracket, which installs with 2 spacers and Allen-headed bolts right here on the motor. We will thread these in loosely. And then move to the pickup bracket, which we'll install right here. Everything goes in loose for the time being. We want to see where the pickup is going to sit so that we can get it in the proper proximity to the trigger wheel. We want to make sure we have good adjustment range so that we can bring our timing either more advanced or more retarded in the future if we need to. The next component we're going to install is the actual trigger wheel. It installs with this concentric ring facing the TCI rattler balancer. This keeps everything in line and it keeps it from rocking around at high RPMs. So it installs with the hash marks facing out right here so they can align with the bracket. You can kind of hear it click over the ring on the balancer. That keeps it from moving around. And we align it with this hash mark about in the center of the adjustment range. So we're going to want it right here, but if we ever want to retard or advance the timing, we have some play in the adjuster that we can utilize. So with the wheel in the right place, couple bolts, 3, lock it in to the balancer, and we will tighten those down. Okay, with the trigger wheel tightened down, we can move on to the pickup, which installs with this included spacer into the adjustment bracket. And then this will get tightened down in 1 second, but first we can slide it up and align it with the hash mark on the trigger wheel body. So with that aligned, tighten down these bolt heads, and that will keep it from walking around. And then tighten the pickup itself. Just tightening down this bracket here. Make sure that that's nice and snug. Also going to tighten the adjuster bracket, make sure that's tight. And lastly, the pickup hold down bolt, that's tight. And now we see that we've got a space here in between the trigger wheel and the magnetic pickup. Fast recommends that that be anywhere between 30 thousandths of an inch and 60 thousandths of an inch. So we're going to measure ours and make sure that it's within that range. And it is exactly 45 thousandths of an inch. So we're right in the middle of that spec, which is good. The last step of the installation is to get the ignition side hooked up, which is as simple as this pigtail. Go ahead and plug that in, and we should be ready to fire up in a few minutes. Okay, we just fired up our big block. The timing's hovering right around 30 degrees right now. We were looking for 35, so we've got to make just a real quick adjustment on the pickup bracket to get our timing where it needs to be, and then we'll test it again. All right, we've adjusted our timing. We're dead on at 35 with a really consistent signal, and we're ready to make some pulls. That's all it takes to install one of these fast crank trigger kits.